Hello, speed of light. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Dietmar Moews, and I want to present the Berlin Pirates Manifesto as thought and discussion paper for the IT movement, the Berlin Manifesto. And with special thanks to Felix Allatze, one of the pirates here, who made this translation work for this paper. The Berlin Pirates Manifesto as a thought and discussion paper for the IT movement. It is well understood that the more clearly a party program is laid out, the fewer members get behind it to represent it. So it is about fundamental values. 5 points. First, no freedom for the enemies of freedom. Second, anything that happens is my business. Third, the Berlin Manifesto in 10 cornerstone points. Fourth, the subject tree. And fifth, consensus points. And I start with the consensus points. Recitals by different authors. First, no freedom for the enemies of freedom. It's by Dolph Sternberger. Whatever is happening is my business. Walter Bauer. Social matters are founded on social matters and must be understood as such. Emile Durkheim. I want to defend the view which so often encounters hostility from historians for being old-fashioned, that the science of history is characterized by its interest in factual, singular, specific events as opposed to laws or generalities. Karl R. Popper. Bit by bit, the machine will become part of humankind. Antoine de Saint-Exupery. Democracy is not a doctrine of salvation, but only one of the necessary conditions which make it possible for us to know what we are doing. Of course, we should forgive those who do not know what they are doing, but it is our duty to do everything in order to know. Karl R. Popper. We must not fail to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of technical progress as broadly as possible, so that the direction which we finally take will be founded on social consensus and not on the decision of a few technologists. Bill Gates. The need of organizations toward coordinating a multiplicity of social processes within the effective interests of social entities must be put out of the question. This is by Alphonse Silbermann. Knowledge is power and countervailing power. We can acquire the second nature while our needs become socio-cultural practice through user culture. Different user fruct and sneezing powder. It's by me, Dietmar Moews. The citizen as general purpose citizen, intellectually and politically open, participating and contributing to local bodies with political education to a competent level belongs at the center of organized education. By Dietmar Moews. Anyone who wants to make education real as a basis for reaction to historical charge of use in life must make feeling into a function of need-oriented leadership and nostalgia into a stimulant of the intellectual climate. Dietmar Moews. And now Bill Gates. We do not get the chance to deselect the future. No one can decide whether the future course of our lives should change or not. No one can stop changes in productivity in the long term, for the market implacable demands them. States can try to put the brakes on change within their boundaries by limiting the use of certain technologies, but with this policy they run the risk of uncoupling themselves from the world economy, having an adverse effect on the competitiveness of their national businesses and hinder their consumers in obtaining the newest products at the lowest prices. Bill Gates. It needs to be clarified what the freedom of the inconstant individual and his immediate sensual experience of life should be attributed to, and what is to be laid at the door of clarified, controlled and directed organization in the field of uncoupled ways of being. Dietmar Moews. Art is a key to culture, to learn and foster social forms foundational to connections between ourselves and among others. It comes down to cohesion and the balancing nature of togetherness based on reciprocity. Alfons Silbermann. It is a good thing when there is theorizing and speculation on the contrast between elite and mass culture. Culture should not be controlled. Culture remains an integral component on the social scene. Knowledge, ideas, beliefs, values, standards, feelings, social inheritance, lifestyle, learned behaviors, tradition, changes, dependencies, resistances. Alfons Silbermann. Society is a conflict centered around humanity's collective opportunity to live its life. Free society is more allowed, more settled, regulated conflict, which by these features sets the level of life opportunities higher than all the game types of unfreedom can. Ralph Dahrendorf. So, I start with the third now, the BERLIN Manifesto in 10 cornerstone points. This is a thought and discussion paper for the IT movement, the BERLIN Manifesto. World history integrates a miracle with or without us humans. There is a new sensuality as a consequence of the sexual and digital communications revolution. The bonds of our individual and social traditions are weakened and are now in a process of change. Human reproduction is no longer bound to the mating of men and women in traditional families. Virtual social culture, supported by IT, is creating forms of interaction of constantly changing collectives, which have no perceptible links to place and thereby loosen reciprocal social controls. Between the old physicality and virtual presence, absence. The new formulations of vitalisation, paralysis, irritation, the new bonds and anomies arise. This manifesto is oriented toward the current statutes of the Pirate Party of Germany and safeguards its norms and values. First, pirates require love and life, nostalgia, dynamism, and being different as human rights. 2. Pirates love self-determination, which is oriented towards political self-sufficiency and personal responsibility, and the local level even against virtual majorities. Freedom, access, and an open social view of humanity, along with tolerance and solidarity towards all other self-determined social formations in the world, define the pirates' view of themselves against the background of new and human rights, United Nations human rights. 3. The pirates believe in their societal power in the subjects, media and values of the Enlightenment as seen today, while looking toward the future in unison with Immanuel Kant, who asked, "What can I know? What ought I to do? What may I hope for? What is humankind?" Even when the know-how is right, human beings are inconstant. 4. Pirates believe in open social human beings capable of self-enlightenment. Pirate policy pursues emancipation for each person and sets itself the goal of an emancipative social gain. The pirates see in the 4 societal areas of organization in Germany: state, market, intermediaries, the civil code, private law. 4. The necessity for unfolding and spreading our own pirate style of action within the various areas of organization with our own standards of compliance and adherence to rules. Permeability of strata is required, and virtual or class-based power cliques are unpiratical. Crippling of society by the budget-oriented serving class tradition in Germany is to be healed with emancipation and care born of maturity, with liberal pirate policies, all the way to the Western Enlightenment model of the European citizen. 5. Each pirate should be able to play along at pirate politics and claim his or her ambitions. For pirates, constitutional ties to the fundamental law, in Germany Grundgesetz, are valid, From the parent point of view, this includes pluralist protection of minorities and protection from discrimination. 6. Pirates reserve forms of civil disobedience for cases in which norms of law and order are weakened by the state itself or by other protagonists, whether directly or indirectly. 7. All pirates examine their political impulses for compatibility with society, sustainability, and party rules. Pirates try to raise their political intentions to the building up of the will within the party, majority opinions and personal decisions, all the way up to political decisions in grassroots democratic updates, which are always welcome. The breadth of the whole of society, openness of discussion, and rational conflict culture guarantee the processes of accumulation of value without hierarchy. They should be bound only to the hierarchy of thought and regulated balance within the party. Articulation seeks majorities through integration of the mind, all the way to political transformation. Pirates test pictures on spirit and function. 8. A pirate's duty is education law. The Pirates Party has imposed on itself the duty to look after the education of pirates. Pirates reject the training of people who think and believe differently, while the right to change ourselves rests on the original meaning of habeas corpus. Everyone has the right to his or her body. The pirates, 9th. The pirates stand within the communication revolution, sexual and digital. While old bonds are loosening with dehumanized reproduction, the new virtual bonds, anomies, are arising. Supported by IT, pirates understand our own political situation in a relationship constantly full of tension between our own local, social, cultural location and virtual, placeless and ephemeral web collectives. The unique feature of the pirates vis-à-vis traditional parties lies in these revolutionary facts of the sexual and digital revolution. The new sensuality integrates the grassroots democratic ideal. A new sensuality must be cultivated as a social basis of politics between the local place and the ephemeral virtual places. It arises out of the everyday experience of change and necessity, irrationality and instrumental rationality. Pirates see the political task in sexual decoupling and digital emergences and the opportunities for the unfolding of a new liberal understanding of democracy and onwards to a liberal socialism. We must constantly warn that democracy is only possible if our technologically reshaped and saturated life is accessible to all the people and is set out comprehensible. Our warning leads to the question we must ask ourselves: What does it mean that the rules of the game, our constitution, are good, but fewer and fewer people want to take an active part? 10. The pirates understand politics according to the following 4 fundamental points, always from value-oriented dynamic change to variabilities, dependencies, resistance and traditions, the complex traditions of the citizens' rights movements in the whole world. This is worth the pirates' support. First, liberal citizenship, anti-authoritarian liberalism. Second, culture of rational conflict. Freedom is conflict, but the absence of compulsion. Third, finding liberal elites in the multiplicity, meritocracy in the process of the division of labor. And fourth, taking care of public virtues, social and political. These last 4 points are fundamentals on liberty by Ralph Dahrendorf. So, then the Berlin Manifesto, the 4th content point here is a pirate subject tree. The worldwide IT movement needs a theory of society and an integral style of action towards it. For every pirate party, self-knowledge of our own political position is a part of this. Consciousness of our own societal totality is horizontal in all fields of work and sub-areas of production, consumption, information and distribution, and vertical from local characteristics all the way to regional and world cultural differences in which pirates voters always live, to integrate with the present condition of empirical scientific research, originating with the self-imposed values of the pirates in the party rules currently in force. The social political situation in Germany is valid from the IT sociological point of view. The structural building sites of the pirates are to be found in the subject tree. And a motto is, whence it follows that such things as no rewards or threats can induce one to do not fall within the right of the state. Spinoza, Treatise of the States. So, and the content of the subject trees is pirate party, pirate movement, IT movement, societal, total, world politics, subject, media's value. Then subjects. Theme, dynamics, variabilities, dependencies, resistance, traditions. Full pirate program versus policy for the present moment. Reform politics in democratic federalism. Secular religious freedom and tolerance towards other religions. Spirit of the times, balancing the book's variabilities, dependencies, traditions. Bond and enemy as a theme of educational ideals and education. Value change and the setting of values. Party structure and the style of action. Politico-strategic internal organization. Politico-strategic external organization. Politico-strategic professionalism. Liberal market and market in ideas, production and the division of labor, accessible consumption and distribution, policy on management and self-determined communication, policy and alliances and the world's domestic policy. Next, media, the individual playing multiple roles. Operating constitutionally in the federal state according to party law. Sensuality, social-cultural. Organizational intermediarity. Technical mediality. Virtuality. Values. View of humankind, tolerance, no discrimination, openness, transparently social, democratic, liberal, self-determination within the rule of law, irrational. Efficiency and contingency, inconstancy. Pragmatism, idealism, utopia. Irrationalism, philosophy of nature or what? Emancipated balance between dynamizing, paralysis and rest. Freedom, necessity and the culture of conflict. Local politics and world politics. Remembering and forgetting. Perfection of techniques, robotics and old sensuality. So, this is the whole discussion paper. The BERLIN Manifesto, written by me and proposed for discussion for the IT movement and the Pirate Party and International Pirate Party. So thank you for watching this and adieu.